Hey, welcome back to the channel. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know if you rocking with Young Dolph. So we just got some breaking news coming out of Memphis, man. So it turns out that Straight Drop was seen with the Hernandez Govan dude, Lotto Cash Desto's dad, and they was actually plotting about the Dolph situation inside of Yo Gotti's mama's restaurant. You know how Yo Gotti got that one restaurant, right? And you guys got to remember when everything happened fresh, they pulled up, like MPD them pulled up to Yo Gotti restaurant for protection because they thought there would be some retaliation. But if you really think about it, in that same restaurant was where all of these people who are getting questioned, who's actually right now like pretty much in trouble for this whole thing. How is it that they all sitting at that same restaurant inside there just days before all together plotting about something, man? And so that's an interesting thing. And it makes a lot of people are thinking like one of the reasons why they pulled up and heavily guarded and securityed and protected Yo Gotti's restaurant was because of the fact that they knew that they had been plotting in there and that something was going on, and that, you know, at that time, basically it's the people in the city that mess with Dolph. But you know how Dolph had issues and all that with people trying to bust him, people trying to tell on him from a long time ago. And basically because CMG and then we're trying to cooperate and get Dolph basically out of the picture too. And so what happened next is that these dudes was basically seen in a picture where they're talking together, and MTZ was there. MTZ was one of the people who they seen at first was like involved in this whole entire thing. And to see him there, it was like his birthday, and they had a cake, they were celebrating, and this girl pulled out her phone to record it. And that's the video footage that resurfaced that came out showing how they were all sitting inside a Privé restaurant, Yo Gotti's restaurant, and they were all doing something, plotting, talking amongst each other. They weren't even eating the cake. They weren't having no drinks or nothing. It was like a little meeting for them. And so, and it's just crazy how they all happen to be all the ones who got in trouble for this entire thing. It's like, wow, that's crazy, because that has to be, a lot of people are saying that it's got to be some sort of connection if they're just all there together. And if they pulled up to protect Yo Gotti's restaurant like that after the situation with Young Dolph and Makita's, then it's even more to think that, oh, okay, they must have known that a lot of Dolph's ops would hang out at Yo Gotti's restaurant, which makes a lot of sense, because all the people who turned on Dolph, all the people who was plotting, or maybe they got signed by CMG and they told them to turn on Dolph, well, they all went to Privé, they all went to Yo Gotti's restaurant, and that's why that place ended up being like a thing of interest, because they didn't know whether that was going to get retaliated against, revenge, or if maybe somebody had fled to there to hide out or something. You never know. And so all that range of possibilities are still open. But now to figure out that there's a connection between the people who got in trouble that leads back to that restaurant, and leading back to that restaurant, they thought that something was going to happen. And that restaurant all comes back down into Yo Gotti's name anyways. And so that's interesting. And now that they probably got these guys caught up, they're going to get them to tell a lot more, because, you know, the reason why they got brought in was probably because Straight Drop had told, and MTZ probably told, and a lot of people told. And so they had to get them to tell so that they could bring in Yo Gotti's brother, Big Jook. And then once they got him in, then that's when the Govan Hernandez dude gets taken down. And like, this is all in order as we hearing it in the news. And so as that's coming out, you got to start thinking, like, everybody is starting to think like, okay, so they all telling on each other, definitely, because they're coming down one by one. Every time one person gets questioned, another person gets in trouble. So they clearly have to be snitching. That's what a lot of people are thinking. And so now it's like, okay, the only people left to snitch on is Shondell, who's already been on the run. Then they got Black Youngster and Yo Gotti, which is like, that's the top of the chain right there when it comes to the CMG. And they're the ones who really were the ones who had beef with Young Dolph the whole entire time for the last 10 years, right? And so that's why it's slowly coming to like what a lot of people were thinking in the streets of Memphis, saying that, hey guys, this could have been from the CMG PRE beef, this could have been from the Yo Gotti's baby mama beef. And so like it's still up in the air that that's a possibility, because by the way it looks like, by the people who keep telling and the people who keep getting snatched up, then it keeps getting closer and closer to saying, oh, okay, they basically snatching up a lot of people who had something to do with the beef from Dolph. And look how all those people end up being connected somehow back to Yo Gotti. Like you got the Govan dude who, boom, he's with Big Jook. That's Yo Gotti's brother. Then he's seen at Yo Gotti's restaurant. So there's too many connections there. Straight Drop was with that guy, and he used to be in the back of a video of Dolph, but then whole time he was Key Glock's friend, and then they had a fallout and they had beef too. So that's another thing that is too many connections. But if you really think about it though, Memphis is kind of small, like compared to like places like New York or something like that. So a lot of these people who were beefing at one point knew each other or were cool with each other. Just like how before Dolph and Yo Gotti had their differences, at one point they shared a stage, but then Yo Gotti went AWOL trying to sign him and trying to get him to give him everything, and Dolph was like, no, he's his own boss. So that's where things took a turn, right? And then now you see how you got all these people from like MTZ and stuff and his crew, and they're caught up in this as well, because a lot of people were saying that those guys had a lot of get back for Dolph as well for whatever happened to Jay. And so that's another situation on its own that could have basically stemmed into like them working with these guys and CMG and this and that. And like it's all really up in the air. And as the details are coming out, people are starting to slowly put it together like, oh wow, all of these people come back and connected to CMG. All of these people come back and connected to the Yo Gotti beef. Like, you know, this is all going down a certain path where they're probably going to end up trying to snatch up the big dudes, the big dogs, right? Like eventually somebody's going to try to tell on Yo Gotti. If they try to pin everything down on like one person, or they try to tell somebody, we going to give you 100 years or whatever, they're probably going to tell on Yo Gotti, unless they got, you know, paid a certain amount to keep hush. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to balance out how much do they have to pay them to keep hush versus are they willing to actually do that time. And so a lot of people end up flipping in that situation. And so that's just the way it goes. You know, everybody thinks that they're super, super tough and that they're not going to say nothing. And then when they're faced under pressure and everything is exposed, that's when they start to sing. That's when they start to, you know, tell on everything, point the fingers and all that. So, I mean, the best thing in that situation is basically to not get involved in anything like that anyways. That way you don't have to ever be in that kind of position where people are scaring you. Because, you know, they're trying to scare Straight Drop into stop talking. Because the more he talked, the more people that just kept getting in trouble. And so that's why they really on the inside that they've gotten them for a whole year. They've been offering them KFC, Popeyes, all sorts of little gifts and stuff for them to give out more details and more people. How do you think they got Yo Gotti's brother? How do you think they got Yo Gotti's brother friend Govan and all those other guys? And the fact that they have Shondell on the run is, you know, still a concern for them, that they have to find him, because he's the one that's going to be able to say whatever what he saw a black youngster doing or his part in it. And so, but other than that, everything is still coming out fresh, breaking news, and stay tuned for the next video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, comment, and like. Catch you later.